Okay, I'm gonna show you guys how to import the database that you exported of GoDaddy backup for your blog, your WordPress blog. Okay, so you log into the GoDaddy, you go under your manage products, you go in there to the overview. There's gonna be a backup in there. Click on the backup to schedule backup. It takes a little bit of time, and then tells you it's ready, and you download the zip file, and then this is how the zip file in my case looks like. Okay. Unzipped, I unzipped in here. It's called WordPress backup. And then we'll have these folders, a whole bunch of PHP files. So let me explain a few things. So the database is going to be in this DB folder, and it's this one SQL file. It's 8.4 megabytes. This is what you're going to import into the MySQL database that's going to be running on your machine. Okay, that you're importing into it. So this is going to be just an example. So I'm going to log into the MySQL server, and I'm going to create a test database. I call it Joe Test. I don't know, whatever. Okay, that's it. I'm creating a database, nothing else, and let me exit this. Okay, now you have to let me go back here so I'll show you guys. You have to take into consideration the full path of where this download file is. So in my case, it's home, Raymond, downloads, backup, WordPress, backup, this one, and then this is that long file, SQL file name. And in front of it, you're going to put this command with sudo in front of it. So sudo MySQL u root localhost, and then here, where it says test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is that database that we just created. What the hell did you call it? I called it Joe Test. Okay, so Joe Test. But in your case, you probably want to call it what it is, WordPress, right? So that's what it's going to be. But I'm just doing test. Okay, and then localhost. That's your machine localhost. Obviously, if it's not local, you would change that. And then the username is here. We're going to be using it as a root. And okay, so anyway. Let me go back here. As you guys can see, I'm logged into to kind of look at the database. So here's, let me refresh this. Here's that, oops, user that I've created, Joe Test, that we just created, or I created. As you guys can see, there's nothing inside. There's just an empty database. So I'm going to do that command, and then we're going to refresh it, and you'll see that, in fact, you know, there's stuff in there. Like this one has stuff. All right, so this is the command. I'll paste that in a YouTube video so you guys can see. Now I was running this, I was doing another video, but I got interrupted, so I'm doing this over again. And then there'll be a Joe Test. And then you just execute this. We'll do our password. Okay, our password, boom. And this one might take a little bit of time, not too much. It's a big file, big SQL file, has to parse it and do whatever it has to do, right? But not too long. Okay, it's finished. So now, if we go back to the PHP MyAdmin, which I would recommend you also install on your local server. By the way, I'm logged into my local Linux machine using remote desktop, so I don't have to be in front of it. It's very convenient. So see, now I kind of clicked on it and refreshed it, but see now here's all these files, WP, WordPress. These are all the ones that are in there. Now it has this thing called, this thing in the middle. You have to keep this in mind. This is how they set this up on their end, so you're gonna have to match this. Otherwise you will have to rename all those tables. But what I'm talking about is, if you click the WP config file, that PHP file that you download from your backup, and scroll down, you're going to see this thing called table prefix. So all your tables are prefixed like this. In the normal WordPress install, they would be prefixed like that. So just change it to match it so you don't have to do